What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. Have another video. This one touching on Mike Tyson. A lot of people have asked me to touch on this on video. I had a few people send me a message for this, and I'll touch this right now on my page, and then maybe later on I will touch on it again on the Boxing Union page. Because maybe when I get more facts together, or when everything kind of comes to fruition, then I'll talk about it again. But right now, the rumor has it that Mike Tyson's possibly coming back, and then Don King has denied the rumor. But who knows what's going on? As we all know, Mike Tyson, is broke, has a lot of problems with the IRS. IRS probably wants their money. So now, Mike Tyson is another fighter, compared to many other fighters from the past with money problems, of course. I can name, so many fighters from the past, who have, a lot of money problems. One, I believe it's Livingston Bramble, former, lightweight champion. I actually heard he was homeless. I think it's Livingston Bramble, or somebody, from that era. Livingston Bramble, Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis, a few fighters just to name, who have a lot of trouble, who had trouble with the IRS in the past, or whatever. And Tyson, is on this list, of other great fighters who have had trouble, handling their money. And Mike Tyson, of course, is one of my favorite fighters, ever. Other than being one of my favorite fighters ever, it's a damn shame that he's 43 years old, he's broke, he has to do all these little odd things, to try to make money. He's like on the Italian Dancing with the Stars at the moment. Other than being on the Italian Dancing with the Stars, he's making all kinds of odd appearances on shows like WWE Raw as a host. It was in The Hangover. He did have a funny ass role in the movie. I liked it. He was in that, and then he had his movie Tyson. And I did think that whoever was in promotion of the movie did a piss poor job of promoting it. Because I think that Tyson's story should be told, to the whole world, not to just only boxing fans, or people who crucify him in the media. Because a lot of people crucify Mike Tyson in the media. I had an aunt, that who doesn't know, who I'll be totally blunt, who doesn't know shit about boxing, but she knows who Mike Tyson is and talks about, no, that Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson looks like a pit bull, stuff like that. And and a lot of these people don't even know who Mike Tyson is, but they assume when they hear that name that he's this animal, this beast is whatever, because he said so much stupid shit over his career, over the like the end of his career, stupid but funny shit. People categorize him and judge him and stereotype him as this crazy lunatic who's a boxer, but and it's a shame that now he is one of those boxers who's having trouble with his money, and he possibly has to come back just because of it. Rumor has it Floyd Mayweather is the same way. I'm not gonna say that Floyd has money problems and money issues or whatever, but a lot of but it's like this, we can't believe all rumors, but it's very true that Mike Tyson doesn't have any money. He has some money, most likely, but at the same time, with all the stuff he's been through, and the consistent spending, probably ran a big hole into his bank account. And me, I somewhat know all about that. The consistent spending and being addicted to spending money and stuff. And then in the end, when you're not working and you're not providing a substantial income, you don't have any money in the end, or you have very little money to live off of. But what Mike Tyson's doing is very reminiscent of what Joe Louis was doing in the past. When Joe Louis was showing up on all these shows and and people making a lot of buffoonery and poking fun at Joe Louis because they could, and one because they could, because they could make fun of him, and two, Joe Louis needed the money, and I think this is the same thing with Mike Tyson. If this rumor is true, and then the possible opponent is another fighter with money problems, Evander Holyfield. Of all fighters, Evander Holyfield should have money out the ass, to be quite honest. Evander Holyfield has fought for the championship so many damn times, fought so many championship fights, so many big fights. He fought, two of the biggest, at the time, two of the biggest fights in pay-per-view history. Or actually, 3 or 4, I believe, because, both the fights with Tyson, and I believe both the fights with Lewis did very well on pay-per-view. And not to mention, all the other fights that he's been in that were, that were just big money fights. The fight with Foreman was big. He made money off the Foreman fight. He made money off of the trilogy with Bo. He made money from, he made some money fighting James Toney. He made money fighting Ruiz and Rockman. Profitable fights, very good fights. Had so much national exposure and endorsements, and even had a fucking video game, with him on the cover of it. I remember because it was on Sega, and me and my brothers used to love that game. We used to play the game all the time, but now, he's another fighter with no money. So what did they do? Well, somebody, got the light bulb in their head and said, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we go get, both of these fighters who don't have any money, and let's put them against each other, and maybe all of us can get money, and it's a case, when it doesn't really work that way, because people obviously know that Tyson, who's like 43, and Holyfield's like 47, what kind of match is this going to be? Because really, if you put it on pay-per-view, it's a waste of money. And it doesn't mean I'm not a true boxing fan if I don't buy this fight with two men who are way past their prime, a fighter who hasn't fought in 5 years, and another fighter who's way over the hill and had 3 or 4 different primes and whatever, and has been fighting pretty much been fighting bums, even though he was robbed last year in Switzerland against Valuev. What else does Evander Holyfield have, that would give spectators, a big run for their money? Nothing. What does Tyson have, after being out of the ring for 5 years at 43 years old? I don't know, but even though Foreman came back and won the championship at 45, he'd been in the ring for a few years leading up to that point. Holyfield been in the ring, for a few years. He was 46 when he fought Valuev, and though I thought that Holyfield won that fight, I think that was his showing. That was his showing that he still somewhat had it, but at the same time, Holyfield has the advantage in if this fight was to ever happen again, because Tyson been out of the ring for so long. Holyfield's been in the ring, but been out for a while, been quite inactive, and trying to get the fight with Mbaka. And I think he got like 150 grand for that fight, just to take the fight. But you have two fighters with no money, and some promoter, and I think what's happening is some promoter or some media journalist, is trying to build up some hype. If it's not true, trying to build up some hype, to kind of put their name out there or whatever. But honestly, if you ask me, I think that putting 2 4-year-olds in the ring with no money against each other is kind of a waste of time, and kind of taking advantage of two, former great fighters. That's just my thoughts on that. I think that Mike Tyson should stay away from boxing, but if say this one shot, provides, him to be out of debt for the rest of his life, then why not take it? And same with Evander Holyfield. Why not take it if this provides a means of income to get you out of debt? But we all know Holyfield has like 20, 30 kids, and Tyson, has a few kids himself. But that's just my thoughts on that. But anyway, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.